Welcome to A&Me. I'm Mags and I'm going to tell you today how you can get your child to dress themselves independently. I share videos and different stories about our lives around autism across many different social media platforms. So please make sure that you subscribe below to find out about strategies and ways of doing things if you are in my position. Also, there's many other videos of different strategies that you can find right here or message me if you have any questions. So today I'm going to tell you about how to get your child to get dressed. Now, there's 3 strategies I'm going to use within this process. The first one is first then strategy, which is basically doing something first and then you can do something else, normally used around transitioning. The next strategy I'm also going to include in this is schedules. So you've probably seen these sorts of schedules, these sort of things where you've got the pictures going down of what to do. These picture schedules are used in school settings, in different places, in order to tell the child what they're doing throughout the day or also in a certain task. Now, this schedule, which you can see, this is a paper one, which is used normally, but it doesn't mean you have to stick with paper schedules. You can set something up in a sequence. And that's what I've got in front of me here, which are my son's clothes. And the third strategy that I'm going to use within this process is called backward chaining. And I'll explain that as I go along. So first of all, this is how you will teach your child to get dressed by themselves. So first of all, set your expectations in the right place. This is not going to happen overnight. It took us a year to get Reese dressing independently. The next thing to be aware of is that your child does not have to be verbal, doesn't have to understand language, doesn't have to be able to do these actions from a physical perspective either. I'm going to take you through how you can work through this. Reese is now 10, but we taught him this when he was just 3 years old. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to lay out their clothes. This is your sequence. So in the exact same way as we have our picture sequence, I've got Reese's pants, his shorts, his t-shirt and his socks all laid out in front of me. So the very first step you're going to use is you're going to take into account that first then strategy. So if you think about your child, and especially Reese, when I watched videos like this, I always thought, well, how am I going to get him to do that? He's not going to just come and sit down and happily partake in this activity or this development need. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this first section of the sequence, and that's going to be you're first going to get dressed and then they can have a reward. So we used to put at the end of the sequence Reese's favourite toy, or I'm all for chocolate. If you have to put chocolate there, a cake or anything like that at the end of the sequence, do that. Now, if you can't put that physical object there because they might grab it and run away, put a picture of what it is so they are visually seeing what they're working up towards. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start not by expecting them to put on their clothes, but doing it for them. So I don't have Reese here today. It's a video, it's an educational video for yourselves. So I'm going to use this teddy. So pretend this is your child. And you're going to put your child in front of you, facing away from you. And you're going to start with the first part of the sequence. And you are going to get them dressed for them. You're not expecting anything of your child at this stage. So you're going to put on their pants, or whatever they're going to wear. Move on to the next part, and you're doing everything for them with them facing in front. So we're going to put on their shorts. And we're going to move along and we're going to put on their t-shirt for them. By doing this, you're making sure that your child is understanding what you are doing. So you would have already been dressing your child for them, maybe running around a bit. So if you have to run and keep coming back to the sequence, do that. But you are just taking what you're already doing and doing it for them within the routine that you're setting up. Now, I haven't put the socks on yet because, as I said at the very beginning of this video, I have 3 strategies I'm using in this. I'm going to explain to you now what backward chaining is. So backward chaining is the opposite what we tend to do as parents. So if you think about an action, an activity, a developmental process for a child, what we tend to do is we go, well, here's your sock, put your sock on. And what a child will do, Reese didn't do this because he couldn't even step forward in that process. What a child will normally do is they will struggle to get their sock on, and then the parent will step in and go, okay, let me help you, and they finish it off. In the exact same way as if they try to put their coat on, and then the parent will step in and then they will finish it off. What you're doing there is that you are, psychologists would say, setting your child up for failure. They can't complete that whole task. So what backward chaining is taking it and doing the total opposite. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the entire task for your child, but leave the last bit for them to complete. So what this involves is actually thinking about what that task needs. So in terms of a sock, we all put socks on all the time. So we just do it. We probably haven't broken it down in our minds yet. So you've got to take, in this example, the sock, and you've got to think about all the steps that you've got to go through to put that sock on. So if we do that together, what you would be doing is you'd be putting your thumbs in the sock, you'd be scrunching it up, that's how I do it. Then you'll be placing it back to my teddy onto your foot, and then you'd be putting it over the toes, and then Teddy doesn't have a heel, but you'll get the idea, and up over their heel and up their leg. So if you take all those steps of a sock, what you're going to do in backward chaining is you're going to do everything up until that last step. So with the sock, you're going to put it onto your child's foot, again, then facing this way, and then you're going to take it all the way up over the heel, and then what you're going to do is hand over hand, you're going to help them pull it up their leg. And that's how you're going to start helping them get dressed. So once they've got used to pulling the sock up their leg, you can then leave them to do it themselves. Once they've got the independence and the ability to do that, you're then going to guide them over the heel, then get them to do the heel by themselves, then over the foot, and then get in and scrunch up. So it's going to take some time for them to then learn how to place a sock on their foot. So if you remember the sequence we had here till before I dressed Teddy, as soon as your child's able to do the socks, you're going to use the exact same thing of backward chaining, and then you're going to move back and you're going to go, okay, let's do the t-shirt. So you're going to break down those stages of putting on a t-shirt, and the last stage of that, probably pulling it down of their body, you're going to let your child do that till they're confident, and then work backwards. And you're going to do this all the way along the sequence, and over time, still sitting behind your child, you will eventually get them putting on their clothes themselves. So you set expectations of this, and to understand all children are different, but for Reese, this took a year for him to be able to sit independently and put his clothes on all by himself. I really hope this strategy works for you. Really want to hear some comments below. How did you get your child to dress themselves? Really want to hear different strategies, so please post them below. Please remember to subscribe to my channel to hear more about how to gain independence for your children if they're autistic, if they've got global development delay, or any other challenges that they may have. And also, please share about this video and let us know how it has helped you.